Hello my bookworms, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sydney and today's video will be a Q&A for 10K. So hey, what's up? How are ya? Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me for a little bit. I don't even know what to say about this video. I am beside myself. I didn't expect anything really to come of my channel, let alone hitting 10K. I don't believe it. I have no idea why so many of you want to listen to me try to speak, but you're here and I am so entirely grateful for you. So thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I went to Twitter and mostly Instagram to get some questions from you guys, your burning questions that you have for me. And I guess we could just start answering them because that's why we're here. I don't have any other introduction other than I'm not prepared and I have to go back to my archive and find the actual post. First question is, how old are you? I'm 24. I'll be 25 in November. Daryan wants to know, when will you read Strange the Dreamer? Hopefully soon, okay? I want to read it soon. Daryan had a couple questions. She said, if Casbreaker was real, would you still marry Caleb? Yes, I would. I love him with my whole heart. Do you and Caleb want any kids, and can I be the godparent? We do want kids eventually. We have no plans right now to have any children, and we're gonna keep it that way for at least a few more years. We want to continue to be selfish, and we're not mentally, emotionally in a place where we want to give that up yet. Lola said, how do you feel about the word moist? I don't feel great about it. Someone asked, we need to know your hair routine right now, they said. I don't do much. I will wash it like 3 times a week-ish with Pureology shampoo and conditioner. And then when I get out of the shower, I will spray some Kevin Murphy like purple bottle detangler. I also have the Kevin Murphy like yellow leave-in anti-frizz thing that sometimes I'll put on my ends. I did that today, and I straightened it a little bit. So that's what that looks like. And another thing that happens is I don't brush my hair until it's like pretty much completely dry because it's a nightmare. My hair's really thin, but there is so much of it, it's ridiculous. So trying to brush it before it's dry is a nightmare. I will never forget this. First of all, whenever I get my hair dyed or like I get my ombre, touched up, it's a all-day event. Like it takes hours. And there was one time that I went to my girl Haley, who does my hair, and there was 4 hairstylists sitting around my chair trying to brush out my hair after they have to tease your hair back and then she paints it on and then you wash it and you have to comb all of that tease out. Like every single hair on my head was teased. And I'm telling you, it took at least 45 minutes of just trying to brush my hair after we were done. And it was traumatizing, honestly. I literally looked at Haley and I told her, I was like, I'm never doing this again and I'm so sorry. I left her like a $50 tip because I was like, this is horrible. But yeah, I don't dye my roots ever. I usually will, if I'm dyeing my hair, I'll just touch up the blonde on the bottom or dye whatever part of my head is blonde. Yeah, I think that's it. Noelle said, would you rather accidentally ruin a friend's irreplaceable book or have someone ruin one of yours on purpose? How horrible. I mean, I would rather have someone ruin mine than ruin someone else's. I couldn't live with the guilt. Someone asked, what is the best place you have ever visited? One of my favorite spots ever is Maine. I think Maine is a really underhyped state. It is so gorgeous up there. But I think that my favorite place that I've ever been, maybe mostly because of the memories, but was last year when Caleb and I went to the West Coast and we visited the Redwoods up in Northern California and then drove up the coast to Oregon. It was just a really, really great vacation. We did get engaged in that vacation in the Redwoods and it was stunning. But also there were so many points in that vacation where we had an entire beach to ourselves. If you look up Crescent Beach in Oregon, this beach is massive. You have to do a short hike to get to this secluded beach. And when we got there, we had the whole thing to ourselves and it was massive and it was beautiful. There was haystack rocks everywhere And I love that memory so much. Probably just that vacation so far in my life has been my favorite. It was beautiful. It was amazing. It was awesome. It was awesome. Someone asked, what is your favorite place to read? I really like my couch. I really enjoy a little chair that is in our bedroom. It's a cute little yellow chair with a little foot ottoman. I sit there a lot at night when I have to stay up all night because I work night shift again, if you didn't know. If you could have any animal as a pet, what would you choose? I would choose a dog. I love dogs so much. We don't deserve them. Avi's my angel. But if I had to choose a more like exotic animal, probably an otter. Otters are so freaking adorable, I can't handle it. Oh, and a horse. Honestly, I love horses. So maybe a otter riding a horse. I could teach them, you know, I could like create my own little circus just for my entertainment. Yeah, an otter and a horse. Hannah said, favorite book this year, ? Book or series that got you into reading. So, okay, my favorite book so far this year, let me go to my Goodreads because I have no idea. I've read some good ones this year. Ooh, and some bad ones. My Goodreads like isn't including January or February and half of March in my read books. Where are they? Where did they go? I'm so confused. Wait, it is 2021 right now. I found them. Don't worry. I'll give you a few of my favorites so far. A couple of my favorites have been The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas, Bunny by Mona Awad, Beach Read by Emily Henry, Pachinko by Min Jin Lee, Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. I did really enjoy House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. The Starless Sea I read this year and adored it. Every single book that Taylor Jenkins Reid has written, I've really, really loved this year. Last Night at the Telegraph Club, Night Bitch, I just read that and I loved that. All's Well by Mona Awad, I just finished. It was also fantastic. And yeah, I think that's enough. Those were some of my favorites of this year so far. She also said book series that got you into reading. I would be a liar if I didn't say Twilight. Definitely read like other things as a kid, you know, like the Junie B. Jones books. Those were my jam. I loved it. And then the Boxcar Kids, those were also my jam in elementary school. I would read the heck out of those. And those are valid answers because like those really got me into reading at like a really, really young age. But in my more slightly older life, Twilight for sure. It was the first like series that I read that I devoured. I was trash. I had the Edward Cullen cardboard cutout in my room. I had the perfume that was like Edward Cullen perfume. I don't know. It was from Hot Topic, I think. And I also got a lot of questions about my job. What I do when I'm not here is I am a full-time nurse. I am an ICU nurse. Right out of school, I started at an ICU that had a specification of neurosurgery and neurology. So it was like neurocritical care. And the unit that I started at was at a level 1 trauma center at like kind of like a bigger-ish city. So we get the sickest of the sick there. Very busy, very intense, very emotional to work on that unit because it is like the front runner for organ donation in the state of Indiana where I live, which is on one hand very cool, and it is very awesome that there are organs being given to people to give them like a second chance at life, etc., all of that amazing stuff. But on the other hand, it also is very difficult, you know, to work on a unit where the outcomes of the patients that you're taking care of are not the best always. It's difficult, and the neuro population is difficult to work in. Whenever I tell anyone who is in healthcare that I'm a neuro ICU nurse, there is really only 2 possible reactions they have. They either say, oh my god, I hate neuro so much. How could you do that? How could you be there? And then the other hand is, oh, neuro is really interesting. Like, that's cool. More often than not, it is the, oh my god, I hate neuro. How could you do that? Because, like I said, it's either kind of sad and depressing because the patient population is difficult to take care of, or it's just very emotional and labor intensive because on a neuro ICU, you have to check on your patients every hour at the top of the hour, sometimes every 15 minutes, depending on what kind of procedure they had done. So it is a very busy place to be. And I love neuro. I think that it's super interesting. I think that the nervous system and the brain is just wild. And yeah, I love all of like the intense level 1 trauma stuff. Like I'll take care of a lot of strokes and things like that, but also like gunshot wounds. And you know, any sort of head or spine trauma is my jam. I love it. I got asked, what is your favorite thing about your job? Let me tell you one story as to why I love what I do. Like I said before, my job, I don't see a whole bunch of people who do really, really well. I work in an adult hospital, but if a patient is sick enough that is below 18, they still can come to the unit that I work on. And he was young. He was a young boy. He was in a car accident, and his injuries were really bad. A lot of us did not think that he was going to do well. He was there for a while. And I remember everyone, even the medical team, saying things like, even if he does survive, like he's never gonna be the same, might never walk again, etc. Like all of these things. Like the accident was really bad. And probably like 8 months ago or so, he got better and he transferred out of the ICU. And about 5 months ago, he came to see us on the unit. I'm gonna start crying. He came walking onto the unit, pushing his wheelchair, you know, because he can't walk for too long yet, but because he's gaining his strength back. But he came onto the unit and he was like, I don't remember any of you, but I know that I was here. And like, he was just like thanking us for everything that we did. And we don't get that a lot. We don't get thanked enough. And to get thanked by a patient that you took care of for hours and hours and days and weeks, to actually see them get better, it's amazing. Damn it. Aside from that, I want to change the subject. But another thing I love about my job, other than knowing that I'm making a difference in someone's life, whether that they know it or not, helping them do things that they normally could do for themselves, or, you know, I'm trying to do everything that I can to get them in a place where they can recover and get better. And while doing that, I'm really using every single part of my brain to, you know, titrate all of these like 7 drips that they're on to like keep their blood pressure up or down, and trying to keep their brain perfusing adequately, or draining these drains that are coming out of their head. Like all of these things, it's a lot and it's busy, and I really love that about my job, that I am able to use my brain and think very critically about each patient, because each patient is kind of like a puzzle, trying to figure them out and how to, you know, help them get better. But yeah, I think that, I don't know how long I've been talking about my job, but I think that's enough. Oh, one other part of my job, someone asked, they'd like to hear about why I left my old job and about my new job. So I don't know if all of you know, but I recently took a new job. So I'm still at the neuro ICU where I started. I'm just supplemental there, meaning that I'm like working 2 shifts every 6 weeks, because I took another full-time job at a different hospital in the region that I'm in. It's just a short-term contract. It's like a crisis contract because they're really short on staff, and it's like a local travel job. So I'm getting travel nurse pay for traveling like a half hour or so every shift to this other ICU. It's still a neuro ICU, but like I'm considered a resource nurse there. So I go to the neuro ICU, I'll go to the cardiac ICU, and sometimes wherever they need me. So it's like, it's the same job, just a different hospital, and a little bit more of a variation of what type of unit that I'll be on. But yeah, I've been there for about like 3 weeks now or so. It is night shift, so I am, you know, flipping back and forth from night shift to day shift schedule once again, but it's only for 13 weeks. So it's not that bad. We will get through it, and plus the extra money for doing night shift on this contract is for sure worth it. Someone asked, who or what is your inspiration? I think that my inspiration is my parents. They're amazing. My dad is the most hardworking person I've ever met. He taught me everything I know about my work ethic and my stubbornness, which can be helpful and sometimes it's not, but it's fine. And my mom is just the most caring and most kind person in the whole world. I love them both so much, and I owe them everything. I got a what type of books do you read question. I read mostly everything now. When I first started the channel, like I never thought that I would read romance. I read romance now. I really like it. I really love fantasy. I really do like a good contemporary, like a hard-hitting contemporary. I really do love. I think that my favorite genre is like just weird. Like I just love weird books like Bunny and Catherine House. But yeah, I mean, I think that I read like pretty much everything now. I got a lot of questions about my tattoos. So I will go through them if you'd like. And we can chat about them, and I got a couple, what are some future tattoo ideas. So first, since it's right here, we could talk about this one. This is a crabapple bunch. There's like a branch here, and then there's some blossoms and a little bundle of crab apples. My mom and I both have a matching tattoo of this. Hers is just a little bit smaller. My Nana had a crabapple tree in her backyard, and my mom and I have been wanting to get a tattoo together for years. And we finally got a little crabapple branch as a little homage to her mom and my Nana and us as mother and daughter. And then right here I have my lemon. It is purely just like when life gives you lemons, you know, that type of thing. I get a lot of questions like, oh, what is that a lime? Is that a grapefruit? And I'm like, no, it's a lemon, damn it. Sometimes I'll just say, yep, it's a citrus, because I don't feel like explaining myself because I don't need to. But yeah, it's a lemon, very cute. And then right here on my ankle right here, I'll just put a picture. I have a little bat with a little Victorian collar on him. I think that he's adorable. I named him Bartholomew. He was not planned. Caleb and I walked into a tattoo shop in Grand Rapids, Michigan when we were visiting there, and we just walked in and we said, hey, do you guys have any time for a walk-in tattoo? And they did. So Caleb and I both picked something off of the wall of flash designs that they have, and we got tattooed. I chose the bat. And then I have my shin piece right here, but this one is probably my favorite out of all of the ones that I have. It is just like a dagger going through a fox skull with some traditional flower on the bottom and some foliage, some leaves. I just think that it's done really well. I think that it's really beautiful. And why a fox, you might ask? I just like foxes, and I didn't want a human skull. I just wanted like an animal skull, and I feel some sort of affinity to a fox, so I did a fox. And is it 100% anatomically correct? I have no idea. And I don't really care. It's just what it is to me. That's good enough. And then I have the one on my foot. So my first ever tattoo. I should have started there. My first ever tattoo was this little arrow on the side of my foot. It was that like really cheesy old saying of with an arrow you have to be pulled backwards in order to go forwards. I was 18 and going through a lot of shit, and I just thought that that was a good idea, and I thought it was cute. I still do love it. I think that it's still special. And then on the top of my foot, I also got a rose and a swallow. And that was also when I was 18. My first year, I got like my whole foot done. In my mind when I was 18, I had felt that I always in my short 18 years, always wanted a rose on my foot. And then I had always also liked the traditional swallow bird, you know, the traditional style tattoo. So I walked in and I said, hey, I like both of these things. And then he said I could do this. And I said, do it. So I got the rose and the swallow. And then he also colored in the arrow design to make it look like a more cohesive piece. It was the same guy that did all three of them. And then I have my thigh tattoo over here on my left thigh. It is a woman inside of a wolf's mouth. And this one is kind of close to home for me. So I struggled with self-harm for quite a while growing up. And both of my thighs have some self-harm scars on them, but this tattoo covers up most of those on my left thigh. In my mind, when I think about this tattoo, I think of the wolf being kind of like a demon-esque type thing, in terms of mental health, you know, like everyone has their demons type thing. And then the woman inside of the wolf's mouth is very calm, serene, powerful, brave, you know, in the face of those struggles. And yeah, I really like it. It means a lot to me. And then the other one that I have right now is right on my sternum right here. It's a unilome. It represents the path to enlightenment. I wanted a unilome since I was like young in middle school. And then one day I walked into a tattoo shop and said, hey, I want a unilome. Can we do something that looks like this? and then he drew something up and I was like, cool, let's do it. And we did it, and now I have it. And those are all the ones that I have right now currently on my body. In terms of future tattoos, I want a whale, either like right here or like here or somewhere. I don't know, I really want a whale. I want a tattoo of Avi for sure. Avi might be put somewhere on the side of my leg because she's always right there next to you. And yeah, I want some sort of hand somewhere. I love hand imagery and I plan on getting a hand somewhere. One of those traditional style ships would be cool on the back of my calf. I have a lot of ideas. I want a lot of tattoos. I want to fill out this arm one day, and then both of my legs would be my goal. Someone also asked, what book couple best describes you and Caleb? I've been looking at this question for like 20 minutes now, and I keep skipping it because I can't remember what my answer is. In the past, I got a question that was like, what character have you read that reminds you most of Caleb? And I had a really good answer, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, I just remembered. I think that I, in the past, has said that Rowan from the Scythe trilogy reminds me most of Caleb. I think that everything that happens in this series, the way that Rowan handles it, I think would be very similar to what Caleb would do. But I feel like that's kind of a hard question because I can see Caleb in a lot of different characters that I've read, and I could see myself in a few other characters, but from different books, you know? I haven't read anything that's like the relationship that these two characters in this one book have. That's me and Caleb. I don't think that I've had that yet. Maybe the closest thing would be Beach Read by Emily Henry, but still, like, not to a T. But that might be my temporary answer. Daryan said, would you rather eat 8 jars of pickles every day or never read a book again? I can hardly read two pickles? I can hardly read 2 pickles. What? I can hardly eat 2 pickles without getting an upset belly, so I don't know how I could eat 8 jars of pickles. But there's way too many books I want to read to not eat 8 jars of pickles. I guess I'll eat 8 jars of pickles? She also said, would you rather sell all your books or sell Caleb? Well, I would sell all my books. I'm not selling Caleb. He's not for sale. Would you rather have a tattoo for each and every book you read or remember nothing about any book you read? I would rather remember nothing. There are some books that I definitely don't want a tattoo for at all. Someone said, are you engaged? And then someone else said, wedding plans, ? Date, ? Yes, we are engaged. Caleb and I are. And literally about 3 hours ago, oh, hold on, my camera's dying, 1 second. Okay, hi, I know that my audio might be a little less great now, but my microphone died. So, we're using the built-in microphone. Apologies if it sucks, but it shouldn't be that bad. I didn't always have a microphone. Okay, but we were on wedding plans. So, we are getting married October 22nd, 2022. We're very excited. I love a spooky season wedding. October is one of my favorite months, and I mostly just don't want to like sweat too much on my wedding day, you know? I'm a hot-blooded person. I want it to be somewhat cool outside, you know what I'm saying? We actually just had our engagement shoot like last weekend. We've been engaged for almost a full year already, but we were just lazy and we didn't get our engagement photos until now. But I did just get like 2 teaser photos, so like I'm gonna put them up right now. I smiled for about 2 hours straight. Look at how adorable they are. I'm obsessed with us. We're so freaking cute. Look at us. Just look at us. I am so excited to see the rest of them. I think that they're gonna turn out really, really good. Cheyenne said, how do you stay motivated to read? Mostly, I just want to read. I think that maybe having a booktube makes me read a little bit faster and a little bit more than what I would normally, which is fine for the most part, but I mostly read because there's so many that I want to read, you know, and I want to get to so many of them soon. And Cheyenne also asked, what are some of your fall favorite books? Or favorite fall books? I did just finish Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Dansforth. That one I really, really liked. It is very long and very slow burn, not very scary at all. It's more of like a gothic horror type thing. but I did really enjoy Plain Bad Heroines. Another one that's very gothic horror-y is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I really didn't like that book for the first 50 pages, but then after the first 50 pages, it really picked up and I was living for the atmosphere. So I would definitely choose that one. I really, really enjoyed it. Steph asked what my dream job is and if I'm liking my new job. My new job is weird. It's definitely very strange not being at my home unit, my home hospital, and the charting system at this new hospital is trash. It is terrible. It's okay. It's just different and I'm getting used to it. But it does make me miss my home hospital a little bit more than I thought I would, honestly. And my dream job, honestly, okay, so 2 answers. A realistic dream job idea would be to go to nursing part-time, so working like 2 shifts a week, and then having the rest of the week to do things that I like, you know, like booktube, having more time to read and film videos or do other things that I enjoy, like pottery, writing, you know, just things like that, things that I enjoy doing. And making money from those things as well would be really cool. But a dream job that, you know, probably isn't attainable right now at all, but I would really love to get paid to travel. Getting paid to travel to locations and then, you know, doing like a blog or like a review on the place that I stayed or like how the vacation went, or I would love that. That would be my dream job for sure. Someone asked, how did Avi get her name? Avi was adopted from the pound and her pound name was Minerva. She lived on the streets. She was a homeless man's dog for the first 2.5 years of her life. We don't know what her name was from that man. So when we adopted her, we gave her a new name. And her first new name was Avela. The name is after some, like a saint, I think. I don't know, saint, like Sancta Maria Avela or something. Sancta, that's from the Grisham trilogy. It wasn't that, it was some like real life saint, Avela. And then we swiftly realized that Avi is way too tomboyish for such a beautiful name like Avela, so we shortened it to Avi. And she has obtained since then many other nicknames, so her given name is Avi. We call her Avin, we call her Govlin, we call her Miss de Govlin, and we love her. We love her with our whole heart. She is our pride and joy. Another question was, what is your favorite color and why? My favorite color is yellow. It's happy, it's fun, it's bright. It just, whenever I see the color yellow, I just get happy. Oh, someone asked how me and Caleb met. Okay, so this is my favorite story to tell. Me and Caleb, we met at a coffee shop. We're very much of a YA romance. So he was a barista. I was a college student. I frequented the coffee shop that he worked at. I originally started going there, you know, to get coffee because I was a tired nursing student. And then going there became me going there to see if he was working. And if he was not working, I would take my coffee to go. But if he was working, I would stay and study there. The coffee shop is set up so that there's like, if this is the layout of the place, there's the bar is here. And then there's a bunch of like chairs and seats over here, but you can sit at the chairs and seats or you can sit at the bar where they're making the coffee. I started out in the seats, you know, and then we slowly started to interact more, and I boldly one day sat at the bar because I was like, no one's sitting there right now, he's working, let's see what happens. And from that day on, I just, whenever he was working, I would go there and sit at the bar. And for like a straight month, I'm sitting there, he's making coffees for his shift, and I got really mad one day that he still hadn't asked for my number. So I looked at him and I said, hey, and he goes, what? I was like, is it cool if I leave my number here with you today? And he was at that time grinding coffee, and then he pulled it out and he goes, wait, what? And I said, is it cool if I leave my number here with you today? And he goes, yeah, that'd be great. I'm like, would it be great? Would it? So I wrote my number on a piece of paper and I slid it over to him and I said, I wrote my name on it so that you don't get it confused with any of the other numbers that you get. He didn't text me for 2 days. He likes to say 2 things about that story. Well, first of all, that is legitimately how it went. But he likes to say that 1, he didn't ask for my number yet because he was playing the long game. And 2, He didn't text me because he thought that there was some unspoken rule that, like, he didn't want to seem too eager. And plus, he was in a band at the time, and he had a show that night. So, you know, he was busy that night. And then the second night, he was like, that was the time that I had to wait. I had to wait 2 full days. Whatever. Men. But yes, Caleb was a barista, played lead guitar in a band with a man bun. He still is, but he was like, at that point in my life, that was dreamboat. He was everything. He still is everything. I literally love him with my whole heart. But it was very stereotypical. Man bun, band, barista. I feel like Dwight Schrute. Bears, Beats, Battlestar Galactica. Oh, I hate myself. Another person, to further off of Caleb and I, they asked how long have you been together and where we want to go on our honeymoon. So we've been engaged for a year, but we've been together for like 4.5 years. And we want to go on our honeymoon. We are thinking about like Iceland or New Zealand or somewhere over there. We're not entirely sure, but we know we want to go somewhere kind of by Europe, but not Paris. No, thank you. Not, Couple other random ones was, what is your favorite season? I really like fall. I love a good, you know, jeans and sweatshirt moment. Those are my favorites. Favorite food or drink? Favorite drink? I love a pumpkin spice latte. That's just the vibe right now. But typically, I really like just a coffee, like a soy latte is my fave. Or if we're talking alcoholic, I love a gin and tonic or a beer. I'm easy to please. Someone asked, are those hula hoops hanging on the wall behind you in some of your videos? They sure are hula hoops. In my free time, I'm also a flow artist. I spin hula hoops around. I will leave my Instagram down below for my flow artist account if you want to check it out. But it is, my book Instagram is sidbookwarm_, but my flow account is just sidwarm_. So I'll leave that down below if you want to check out what flow artistry is. But yeah, those are hula hoops. Someone asked, what does Caleb do for work? He is a house flipper. Like, he does construction and he flips houses, you know, that type of thing. He's very good at what he does. And I think that's it. That's all that I really have time for. There were a couple more questions. I'm sorry if I didn't get to yours, but I think that's it. The light is going away. So that being said, thank you so much for not only being here and hanging out with me, but just being here in general. I can't even describe to you how unreal it is that I have 10,000 subscribers here. I can't even handle it. Thank you so much. Truly, from the bottom of my heart. If you are still watching, then leave the little party guy emoji, you know, with the little kazoo. Thank you. Thank you so much again. Means a lot. I appreciate all of your support as always. And of course, be kind to one another and happy reading. Bye.